Welcome back. I'm Tonya from Tonya's Witchy Kitchen. And how are you doing today? What do you think of when you see a movie or whatever and they're waving the white flag? I don't have a white flag. We have a red one that's for bulls, but no white flag. But what do you do when you see somebody waving the white flag? What do you think of? Surrender? Like the pirate ships, they run up the white flag, so, they surrender to the pirate. Or, if you see like war movies or something and they bring out the white flag, they surrender. They're done. The supplies are diminished, maybe their men are done. They've lost too many. They're just at their ends wit. So, I know. I just want to share this with you. So don't go like, oh gosh, I can't listen to this. Just listen to this, right? Okay? But, we have this thing in our Catholic faith about, and maybe others do too. This is something I should ask my priest because he's a chaplain. And so he knows all these other faiths because that's what they do. If somebody comes to him and he's like, oh, I can't do this, but I know, go to so-and-so because they can do this, they can help you, because of the religion and, their basis and their faith and all that. And anyway, so we have this thing where you surrender what you can't handle to God, right? And I was thinking about this morning, and it's like, so you basically bring out the white flag, that's Jesus's sign to be like, yes, I'm in. It's like the coach bringing in the quarterback or whatever. I'm in, and that's when we're saying we're done. I can no longer handle this. I cannot do this alone. I need your help. You wave the white flag of surrender, and there he is. Jesus is right there, right? Helping us somehow, some way in our problems because we've surrendered it to him. I just thought that was, I don't know, I was like, yeah, the white flag, that's his sign. And you feel that, like when your kids are going through something, and even if you've asked them for help, if they want help, you go, hey, do you want some help with this? Do you want, no, I don't want your help, and you just can't wait till they're like, done. They've exhausted their supplies. They don't know what to do. And they're like, Mom, can you help me with this? And you're like, yes, I'm in, It's that feeling like, yes, they need me. They want me, they need my help. It's so glorifying. That's not the right word, but it's just this awesome feeling to help somebody. And, we shouldn't be afraid to ask God, ask Jesus for help either. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. That's been on my mind all morning. Yeah, I probably wrote it down in my journal better than I said it, but that's okay. I'm not going to go get my journals. That was a whole other thing. But anyway, today we're doing another Valentine soap. Yep. This one, we'll talk about it in the video. So 3 things: be kind, be forgiving, be you. And let's go check out the next Valentine soap, All Things Nice. Okay, and now to All Things Nice. And All Things Nice is a little like, sugar and spice and all things nice. That's what little girls are made of. Do you remember that rhyme? Nursery rhyme? What the heck is boys? Frogs and snails and puppy dog tails? That's what boys are made of? I don't know. Okay, getting serious. This fragrance oil will discolor, and as you can see, I have my titanium dioxide off to the side, and I wasn't supposed to put the fragrance oil in the whole batch. No, I was supposed to pour it off first and then put the fragrance oil in there. And I am just like, what are you doing, girl? And then I had like hundreds of ideas of what to do with this to change it up, kind of like the Rip Your Float bar and stuff like that. And In the end, you'll have to wait and see what I did with it. Well, you already know because you saw the thumbnail. So I didn't do anything to it. But I had lots of ideas. Lots of ideas. Like to like, like do a very fine shower of just like a plain cold soap batter, and drizzle the bars, and I mean all these things, and in the end it was just like, okay, and I went with the titanium dioxide in there because I thought, well, worst case scenario, maybe I'll get like a ghost swirl looking thing, right? Because it's already done. What am I gonna do? I can't do anything else. I don't have any more soap prepped or anything like that, so I just was like, well, I'm just going to do what I figured I was going to do, which was a drop swirl. Yeah, a skinny drop swirl, if you want to go by my notes, meaning I don't put the whole batter in. I don't fill up the mold like halfway or, 2/3. I fill it up like just the bottom, and then we just continue to pour soap, which is very boring. I mean, not to be, like a Debbie Downer, but, pouring soap, it can be very boring unless you really like looking for what was the technique and what was this. But YouTube will tell you most people just watch the cut of the soap. All they want to see is the cut of the soap. They don't want to see anything else. They don't give a rat's butt about how you did it or how you got there. They just want to see the cut of the soap, which, that's my favorite part too, is the cut of the soap. It's all the anticipation of having to wait. Lately, I've been cutting it like after 2 days, like not 24 hours, but more like 36 to 48. And I don't know why, because then I'm moving this bar of soap around my my soaping area, and but that's what I did. It looks really pretty this way. Could have used some sprinkles maybe, but at the time I wasn't really thinking. I was just mad at myself. See, another hot one. Those air bubbles on the side that it got hot. But it doesn't look so bad so far, does it? No, looks kind of like a slight, I think this would be called a tan or beige discoloration. And back to the topic of the intro. Hopefully this isn't offending a lot of people, because I do know that since I've been talking about Father Justin and stuff like that, my views have really plummeted. But I don't know if people are just busy or they're just, sick of me talking. I really don't know. Which is a little depressing on my, part. But I'm just going to do what I do, and that's all I can do, right? And nobody's really been complaining about my topics, so, which is good, that's a good thing. So, looking at these soaps, they do look, okay, so isn't it funny? So, you see the tan part on the outside, and it looks like a little bit of glycerin reverse because it got so hot, and I soap at like 38% of the water, but they look yellow. Don't they look yellow? Isn't this funny? And I think it's probably just the fragrance oil just not discoloring, yet, because it's only hitting the air. But no, I didn't add any colorant to it. So if you use these bars slow enough, eventually you will see the inside will be not discolored and the outside will be discolored. But here are the fragrance notes to these yummy, all things nice bars. Here are the bars right after I cut them. And here are the bars when they're totally cured. They're really kind of cool. Rustic, they got some ghost swirls. And as always, I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by, and I will see you next time. And God bless.